Irving Rhames. What's going on, my brother? Thank you for being here. I just want to get right into it, man, because I know a lot of people would like to know your perspective on things, as I do. So I want to jump out the gate and ask you, Irving, who was that? Where did that name come?
Irving Levin was a famous radio broadcaster. That's where my mother got the name from and gave it to me. My name was quote unquote changed to Ving when an actor pretty well known named Stanley Tucci. In college, he started calling me Ving and it just stuck. So that's how I got the name Ving.
Now, Stanley Tucci, that's the gentleman with, he likes the glass, he got the glasses. Now he's a glasses guy.
No, Google him, you can see him.
Okay, I'll look him up.
You may know his face.
Last time I saw him, he had on these black glasses. Stanley Tucci. Yep, that's him.
Stanley Tucci Jr.
That guy, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I've seen him a couple times. And he gave you the name.
Yes.
Ving. But what made him, because you're a big guy? What made him say
I
that?
don't know. He just started calling me it.
But it
And
stuck
then
with you.
just stuck. Everybody started calling me that. So
And this is at Juilliard.
that was at State University of New York at Purchase.
Okay.
That was at a place called SUNY Purchase.
Okay. So did he go to Juilliard as well, though?
No, he just went to SUNY Purchase. I went to SUNY Purchase for 2 years. I went to Juilliard for 4.
Wow. Wow.
I got my degree from Juilliard.
Juilliard. That's incredible. Can you tell me, when you talk about Juilliard, like what, was that your dream when you were younger? Or did it become when you understood what
No,
that school was?
I tell people I didn't choose acting. God chose me to act.
Wow.
So I never was a kid who wanted to be an actor or anything like that. I wanted to play football, like my brother did. My brother played for Rutgers University, and so I wanted to play football. Acting was just something that a bunch of incidents happened that led me to acting. Myself and a buddy named Mark Twain Brewington, black guy. This was at an age where we started talking to girls, and all these girls were going to this poetry class. So me and Mark, we followed them, or Mark and I followed them. That's how I got into acting.
Get this on record. The great Ving Rhames got into acting
Yep.
because some beautiful girls went into a class and
Yep.
they followed them.
Yeah. I wasn't interested in poetry. It was a poetry class. I'm in Harlem. Am I interested in poetry? No.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So you go into this class, and that day, what were they doing?
Poems. I don't remember what exact poem they were doing, but let's say we had Maya Angelou, Paul Laurence Dunbar. Then we had a poem written by, I think it was Lorraine Hansberry, because it's the Raisin in the Sun poem.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I think it's her, but I'm not sure.
Okay. And did you have to do something that day, or did you just see what they were doing and left? Or were you put on the spot and
No, we
something
didn't have
happened?
to do anything that first day. No, she explained what it was about and what have you, and you met all of the people, talked a little bit about yourself, and boom, next class.
Okay. See, the reason why I want to dig into this, because this is for people that are trying to find their way. One of the reasons why I want to do this sit down with greats like yourself is so that for those who don't really know their path, it's kind of
Well,
like,
again, I didn't know my path, but did I put my faith and trust in God? Yes, I did. Did I trust that He would show me the path and lead me to the path? And part of my calling was from Him and what He wanted my purpose to be on earth.
wow.
So that's what I did. I didn't focus on, well, outside of football, I didn't focus on trying to be anything.
So let's rewind a little bit, because you told me about an incident, and I remember even reading, I believe, about it. But what happened at 5 years old with you and God?
Well, 5 years old, I lived across the street from the 126th Street Youth Center. A guy I know in the neighborhood, he happened to be drunk, and he was trying to climb in the front window. We lived on the ground floor. He was trying to climb in the ground window, and I was crying, I was scared, and I just kept asking, like, for my father. And my father either came home very late or didn't come home. And that's when I turned to God and had him as my father. And that's when, you know, I kind of moved on from my father because I realized that I can't depend on him.
Wow.
He can't even come home from work on time for whatever reason.
Right.
You know, normally it was because he was drinking alcohol or another woman. So me realizing that, you know, I moved on from him.
You found that out later though, because at 5, there's no way you knew about the other women or the
Right.
alcohol.
I found out about the other women later, but was that a part of his character? Yes, it was.
Wow. Wow. I think that's incredible that at 5 you started leaning on God at 5.
Yeah, I
you
did,
can remember distinctively
Yep, I did.
that. It's a big thing.
But I grew up very poor, so who else could I lean on? That's how I looked at it back then. So I might as well try God. Whether God exists or not, it was worth a try. So that's how I live my life, really. I put it in God's hands.
Whenever we talk, you always say, I trust God.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing. Note to people, trust God, man. When you can't trust anything else or anyone else, trust God. Let's go a little bit further, man. So when I think about football, like a lot of times people get caught up in where they used to be or what could have been. Do you ever say to yourself, though I did pretty good acting, because you're still acting. We got Mission Impossible, you know, right now, and other movies that
Mission
you're
8 is coming out after it. We already shot half of it.
I mean, still working. 40 years in the industry, still
Yes.
working.
Yes.
Do you ever look back and say, man, I still wish I might have?
No.
No thoughts like that.
I think that however life turns out, in general, unless I do something wrong, it turns out the way it was supposed to. You know, like saying honestly, I wasn't good enough to play football. But if I was good enough, let's say, how long would I have played? I don't know.
Because you probably would have played what position? Your size?
Cornerback or free safety. Those were my positions. But literally, would I have played with who was out there? Or were they better than me? I remember our cornerback for the Washington, I think the Commanders, Darryl Green. He was better than me. Like there's no comparison. I could look at myself and maybe God wanted me to see that. Yo, there are a lot of guys better than you, faster than you, can lift
lot more weight than you.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're just better.
Yeah.
No, there's no ifs, ands, so. And Darryl Green was just better. He ran like a 4.3 40, and he was fast. Like he was fast. I ran like a 4 point something.
Okay.
Darryl Green was like fast. He was over a second faster.
That's fast on the football.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a difference. Yeah. Wow. You know, I really want to just focus on what was just said. It's okay to not be the best in an area or in a certain sport, or a certain, you know, just whatever.
You're probably not going to be the best in anything.
Wow.
That's the truth of it. Yeah, you're probably not going to be the best. You may be the best that you can be, but does that encompass everyone on the planet or everyone who does what you do?
Shout out to my little nephew Cameron, man. I'm giving you a shout out, man, because you try hard, nephew. But nephew is the slowest kid on the field, and nephew, when I say nephew, run, he got the ball in his hand, and you can't tell him he's not the fastest kid.
Is he powerful?
He's powerful,
Is he elusive?
not elusive. He's
Okay,
powerful.
well, then he can use his power.
He can use his power.
Run over people.
Correct.
Shortest point between two lines.
It's
Straight.
straight through.
Yeah.
But the thing is he's not playing football because he discovered that he loved something else, like, art
Okay,
and
yeah.
stuff. So sometimes I guess it's safe to say, based on even what you said, if you have one failure or something that you want to do but you're not good at it, don't stay there.
Yeah, and I don't even call it a failure. I just call it looking at reality, a wake-up look, as we call it, an N-word wake-up call. I know you want to do this, and you've been dreaming about this, whatever, but you're not
not
going to do
working.
that. Yeah, you're not going to do that. I'm sorry to tell you, but you want me to show you you're not going to work and make it in that field?
Yes.
Or will you believe me by showing you? So.
I rewatched Made in America, and do you feel like that's the best work you've done?
I feel it's like, I'll say this honestly, like, I don't really believe in best work. I believe in different scripts, different characters, but what is best? Is Moliere, Ibsen, Shakespeare, Chekhov, who's best? Are they just different? Is he writes better in drama? This guy writes better in comedy, but they're all very good writers. That's how I just look at it. I just look at it, well, if I can be the best I can be in whatever lane, that's all I try to do.
What's best? That's a great question. I think we all need to think about what that really means.
Yeah, and I don't think best is based on your opinion. It's other people making judgments. Like, who's the best basketball player, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
We've had this
Well,
discussion. I'm gonna
we've
give it to
had-
Mike. I'm gonna give it to Mike, but
Fine.
you say
Yeah, but I say
LeBron
when I
because
say, well, when you look at the statistics, in every category over the same amount of time, LeBron leads Michael in everything. Now, I say to people, did LeBron play against more Hall of Famers than Mike? Let's look at what Hall of Famers did Mike play against? John Stockton and
Joe
Karl Malone.
Dumars.
When did he play Joe Dumars? Oh, when they won that. But in the finals, I mean, in the
Yes.
finals.
One of the best.
No, in the finals.
Oh, okay.
He played against Stockton and
Patrick
Malone.
Ewing.
Not
No,
in
they
the
didn't
finals.
make it to the
See,
finals
that's what I'm
either.
saying. In the
Okay,
finals.
okay.
When he played against Seattle,
Shaquille O'Neal, Penny Hardaway. They played in the finals.
when he played against Gary Payton,
And Sean Kemp. Yeah.
but Sean Kemp is not in the Hall of Fame. Check it out.
Oh, I know you're right.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah, okay.
So now let's see, who else did he play against? Now let's go to LeBron. Take one team, Golden State. How many Hall of Famers are on that team, brother?
I can tell you Draymond Green shouldn't be anyway.
Yeah,
It's
but
gonna have some people
he
that gonna have a
probably
problem.
will because he won 4 championships.
Yeah, because he likes to knee people when they.
Yeah, but still, he probably will. Well, I could say Michael likes to punch people who's smaller than him.
One time.
I know.
Steve
Well,
Kerr.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, what type of teammate was a better teammate? LeBron, who passes the ball to you, or Michael, who shoots?
Yeah, I get it.
Who's the better teammate? Now, who has, let's say, played more consecutive years?
LeBron James.
Right. Not take a break off for 2 years and then
Go play
and then-
baseball.
right. And then go and take a break off for 3 years, like when you're fully healthy.
Yeah. You got a point. Okay.
So, but I respect Michael, but I don't think he was really up to the level that we make him in general. The public makes him bigger than who he really was. Like Isaiah Thomas said, when Detroit used to play them, who won most of the games?
Detroit.
Yes. So
But they were
Isaiah could talk.
also known to be the dirty team, though. Let's talk about
Yeah.
that.
Well,
that
you can say
regardless.
whatever, right? Regardless, who did they beat you?
They did
Is
win.
it documented that they won? They don't say they won
Because
in the
they were
dirty.
dirty. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Isaiah beat Michael more than Michael beat him.
This is true.
Now, then when we go to when Michael was playing, even when he scored 60 something against Boston, who won the game?
Boston.
Yes.
So does that matter? It
Right.
does for stats.
But
sake.
that, yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to do that. But the bottom line is win and lose. Who won in that era more championships? Michael or Boston in that era? In the, let's say, in the 80s.
Boston.
Right.
Yeah. Larry Bird and that squad. Yeah.
Yeah. Larry Bird, Robert Parrish, and Kevin McHale.
Yeah.
Then they got
were tough.
DJ and
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yes.
So that's how when I look at things, I go to, oh, you remember when San Antonio swept LeBron's team
In the beginning.
in the championship?
Yeah. When he was
Okay.
young.
Who was on? How many Hall of Famers were on that San Antonio team?
Oh, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker. Did Mono go?
Yeah, Mono just went.
Okay, so 3.
Yeah. Who was their starting 5?
Wasn't it?
But okay, that's another
but
thing.
I get your point, though.
Plus, you get my.
Yes.
So
I
in
get
two
your point.
teams, he played against more Hall of Famers. Now, just like LeBron played Golden State twice, well, Michael played Stockton and Malone 2 championships.
Right. Right.
So, but you see, but on the overall looking at it, this guy who's more so thought of as a passer, leads the league in scoring. In the history of basketball,
That
brother.
doesn't- yeah,
Right.
that's-
But he's 4th in assists. People don't talk about that. LeBron is 4th. LeBron passed Magic in assists.
Wow.
Look it up, brother.
I don't doubt it. I get your point.
So even though we could say Michael won 6 championships straight, whatever, but then when you break it down with in the same amount of games, let's say who scored more? It was LeBron. Was LeBron shooting more threes than Jordan when Jordan stopped playing?
Yes.
Yes. Now, nobody told Jordan he couldn't shoot. He was on the Washington Wizards. So, you know, but did he
But
shoot them?
his game slowed down. But let me ask you this question: Who you going to take?
Okay, now-
Who you going to take? You going to take Mike or LeBron?
LeBron.
Okay.
LeBron, because let's put it this way. I can play LeBron with any great player. LeBron can play with Kobe because LeBron passes.
True.
Can Michael play with Kobe?
I would say no.
Right. See? So that's how I look at it. Which player is more versatile? LeBron can play 1 through 5.
True.
Especially when he was younger, but you know, can he do that
he's
now?
definitely a freak of nature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, LeBron, no matter what we say, is LeBron more, let's say, for another word, special? How many people in the history of basketball can do, you know, assists, rebound,
Pass, shoot, yeah.
play defense,
Yeah.
and like, you know, he's rare.
And how long has he been in the league now?
It's coming up 21.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Just to play 21.
Just to play.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
Michael Jordan, if you watch this, don't be mad at me. All right.
yeah.
Nah. But so to the point of better. So you said you don't necessarily say somebody's better than the other person
No, I
simply
don't.
because they are better in certain categories.
Yeah. Now I can say LeBron was better at passing than Michael. I can say LeBron was better at rebounding than Michael.
But as a
And-
total player,
and statistics say he was better at scoring than Michael. What else you need me to do? If I beat you, if I lead you in scoring, rebounding, and assists, well,
I'm better. I'm
yeah.
better technically.
Yes.
The only technicality is that how long did Jordan play? 15 years?
Yeah, but I said take the same amount of years.
Okay.
When Jordan was 37 or 38, his last 2 years, how was Jordan? Now, you've seen LeBron at 37 and 38, averaging 30.
Okay.
Our basketball with technology today, quote unquote, bigger, stronger, faster. Now you have several guards, 6'6" and on up.
I mean, look at what's his name? 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Wembley. Wembley. What is his name?
No, I know you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean, can dribble the ball. Do everything with it.
Now, did they learn from those old school guys? Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Did they take the game to another level? Yes. Did LeBron learn from Jordan? Yes. So, but back then, let's just say, like, most teams didn't have one man, let's say, they kind of relied on for most of the points.
Correct.
Even the Celtics, they had, guys.
A few guys that could
Yes.
score. Unless you're talking about Will Chamberlain and his squad, he was the primary scorer.
Yeah, but back in the day, played on one of Wilt Chamberlain teams, Jerry West.
Oh wow. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was a
And, played on one of his Philadelphia teams. They called him Mad Dog.
mad dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to look him up.
His Philly team, he played with a guy, and he was a baller.
So let me ask you this question. You said that you wouldn't pick Made in America as your favorite.
Right? No, I wouldn't.
Okay. But if you were to say an order of just say your top 3 movies that you enjoyed the most, what would they be? Or, top 3, top 5.
Pulp Fiction,
Why?
because the director knew exactly what he wanted.
Okay.
He worked and he gave you controlled freedom. You can't go past this and you can't go past this. Anything in between there, you can.
It's yours.
Yes. But
Just that whole
he knew
word.
what he wanted. He knew the rhythm he wanted things in. He knew everything. And not all directors know that.
Let's focus on that because that seems like a kind of like a contradictory phrase, controlled freedom. Because it's
Yeah.
like if you're controlled, do you really have freedom? So
Yes,
how do you
but
have
it's
freedom
controlled.
within it? Okay, you just know the boundaries.
Yeah, that's
But-
controlled freedom. Yeah. There are boundaries in controlled freedom. Let's say, as a husband what you can do and what's over the limit.
Correct.
That's kind of how I look at it. It's controlled freedom, but it's not just total control.
Right.
It's giving you space to put yourself in the character. So I say Pulp Fiction, Made in America, and Holiday Heart were my most quote unquote fun.
Let's talk about Holiday for Heart for a second because you said a statement that I really want to focus on, just about our people, right? About the fact that sometimes there are people that have a problem with something that is so massive that is actually really a problem and then overlook the things that don't,
Well, I think the black community in general has been conditioned to accept black on black crime, for instance, in movies, on TV. They see it. They accept.
so desensitized to it.
Yes.
as well.
They desensitize themselves to homosexual or gay relationships on TV and commercials and whatever. It becomes accepted as, normal, natural, whatever. And who knows? Maybe it is normal and natural. Maybe God did make them that way. So let's use the word homophobic. Phobias are fear of. So for me, I don't know anybody who's afraid of homosexuals.
Right.
No,
I'm not.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, me neither. So for me, when I do roles that are either, like what I did in Pulp Fiction, well, those kind of incidents happen to men. Even the strongest of men put in one of the most, let's say, vulnerable positions.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's real life. Yeah.
So that's what I accepted as. I accepted as, this is a character. Don't judge what happened to him, because do men get raped? Do women get raped? Now, when we see films or saw films where a woman gets raped, do we make that much of a fuss about them? Or a black man shooting a black man? Do we make a fuss about it?
No, it's a
We
part of
don't.
the movie.
Yes.
It's a part of the movie. Yeah.
So that's how I looked at playing that character. Like, okay, this is something that happens to him, and it happens in real life. We don't want to talk about it, but it does happen.
Correct.
So that's why it was, and I'm not homophobic, so that's why I was able to do
Tap
that
into that
scene.
role.
Yeah. Because it's something really happening to the character. It wasn't the character's nature.
Right.
It was somebody doing something to the
To
character.
the character.
So, and that's why for me in general, the black community has embraced me on things. And, you know, nobody says, oh, he's gay or anything like that. This is something that happened to the character in a film.
Right. Wow. Man, that's just great information. And if you're listening, no homophobia here. You know, we love everybody, right? But it's just sometimes we pick and choose what we want to accept or shun. And I just think we need to be a lot less judgmental.
Yeah,
in
because
certain
I can
areas.
say, how many pastors or priests have molested boys and girls? Mainly boys.
Man, oh man. Don't even go there.
You
That
see what I'm
topic,
saying,
yeah,
brother?
yeah.
We don't really deal with that. But does it happen?
Absolutely.
Yes. Are there known pastors who've
Done
been
things.
guilty of it?
And still haven't been sat down,
Exactly.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
And even in our community, especially in all communities this happen, but in the African American community, the black community, a lot of times it's not just taboo, but we're hushed on it. We don't talk about it.
True.
We don't go to counseling about these types of things. And Ving, what do you think? Do you think that people should do counseling if they've experienced trauma?
I think counseling, yes, because since we were all born in sin, you know, are we going to sin? Yes. Are we going to have sin committed to us?
Yes.
Yes, in some form. Because I even can say, with parents, parents try their best to raise us as well as possible. Do they make mistakes?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Do I make mistakes as a parent? You get my point? Yes.
Yeah, I do.
So,
No doubt.
because I do, then maybe I can understand my father better for things that he did
Or
that
didn't do.
I didn't realize the effect it would have on me when he did it to me as a child. It could be something as simple as taking a belt and whipping you. Has that happened to me? Yes. Was it necessary for me as a kid? No. I learned more from punishments than whippings. I knew the whipping would be over and I'd be running outside playing soon. You know, so that's how I was, and that's what I realized with my dad. Let's say he dealt with trials and tribulations on this earth as a black man that I didn't have to deal with necessarily,
My goodness.
or not to the same extent.
Correct. Now, was he from South Carolina as well?
Yes.
Okay.
So he grew up in a different way. He grew up learning a different style of life back then. And he passed on to me what he knew, even if it was whippings. That's what he knew.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't go to college, so he didn't learn, you know, things in psychology and stuff, but he really didn't learn anything new as far as raising kids that I know of. I can't blame him for it. I can just say that's where he is.
Right. I remember my father, because, you know, I'm from Columbia, South Carolina myself. He talked about that. I mean, we used to have to go and pick the switches, you know.
Yeah.
And if we didn't get thick enough or long enough, we had to go grab another one. And then he would take them and wrap them together, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is, you know, did things happen that shouldn't or should not have happened? Yes. But in our communities, we are generally a reflection of where we come from
Yes.
until we learn better. And so I want to say this because Ving just made a point, and I really want you guys to hear that point. There are certain things that our parents did that they were basically only repeating. And as painful as it might have been to you, I would challenge you to, as a grown up, reevaluate the whole perspective that you have. Because if you look at your life now, you will see that you need a little grace, you need a little understanding, because you did some of the things that you didn't want done to you because it was just a part of what you learned.
Yeah, and let's say biblically, is this a period of grace biblically?
Absolutely.
Yes.
For all of us.
Yes.
All of us. You got a good point
Yes.
there.
So,
For all of us. Man, that's so good. You know, Ving, tell me about the absolute toughest time in your life, like that window of time. Yeah, I mean, the season where you just, nothing was going right. You were
I
waiting
never
on.
looked at life that way.
Okay.
Because I always trusted God in that anything I went through, it was just a matter of time before I got over it. Like my mother said, live simply and be grateful. So that's what I follow. I live simply and I'm grateful for things that happen in my life. But I always think optimistically. I always know it's never as bad as what I think. And I always, you know, they say, you know, the man with one hand is the king in the land of the men with no hands. So I always remember that, how even though a deficiency in something, you know, you can still be at the top of the mountain.
That's just such, that's so good. What a great nugget. The man with one hand is the king in the land of the men with no hands.
Yes. The men with no hands wish they had one hand.
Come on, that's gratefulness.
Yes.
That is gratefulness.
Yeah.
So you have never looked at it. So you've always looked at situations you face as a stepping stone or an
Yeah,
opportunity.
I've never had it tough.
Wow.
Like if I ever think I had it tough, my mother picked cotton in South Carolina with the Nazis, prisoners. We had Nazi prisoners, look it up, Google it, in South Carolina that used to pick cotton with African Americans.
My goodness. What a history.
Yeah, and then when they would go into town, the Nazis ate in the white only, and the black people ate in the black only.
But they were picking cotton together.
Yes.
I know that, and my condolences again, because we both share that we both have, our mothers have transitioned. Can you share a moment where, I wouldn't say at the end with your mother, but can you share a moment that kind of sticks with your heart?
Yeah. My mother said one day a man was climbing on the fire escape, on our fire escape. And she said she was scared, she prayed, and she said God just wrapped his arms around her and she fell asleep. And it was the best sleep that she's had.
He was climbing on and she just said that prayer and peace came upon her.
Yep.
So that's a big part of your faith is,
Yeah.
is predicated on what she instilled.
Yeah, and also the fact that I realize in general, what can man do for me? Not much or nothing very special. So, you know, so I never looked at man to do anything for me. Either I did it with the help of God or I looked to myself to do it.
Another note, another nugget. Well, I tell you what, you know, Ving, there are so many questions I have, but I think in general, you just shared with me a lot of what I wanted the audience to hear. And that is just a perspective of a legend, because in our community and many other communities, you are a legend. I mean, heck, we can't even go to a restaurant without people trying to come and eat with you. Eat. Can I taste from your spoon? No, your spoon. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Well, what did Jesus Christ say about crumbs? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
He talks about crumbs several times.
Yeah,
He could
and
do
he
so
talked
much
about
with them.
sometimes if people could have been close enough to just get the crumbs from
From
them.
the table.
Yes,
Just the crumbs.
just the crumbs. I don't want much.
And it's also called overflow.
Yes.
Yeah, just the overflow. You don't
Yeah.
even have to get what's.
Yeah.
What's your take on war? War, just in general. Is war necessary?
Well, look, I don't know if all throughout the Bible, but in the Bible, where there's some wars,
yes.
yes, where there's some people whose purpose was to be warriors.
Correct.
Yeah, so I look at war as something that's inevitable, and you have to be prepared for it because, maybe before I was born, before you were born, they used to draft people who might not have been prepared for it.
Or created to do
And
it.
that may happen again because the military is running low on, their population. So they may have to do it again. And unfortunately, the military is full of country boys, poor, quote unquote, white guys, and poor black guys. That's our military.
So they don't have many options anyway.
Right. The military is a good option. You can get paid, you can get a college education, you get 3 meals a day. I mean, what else do you need?
So I guess, my thing is, and the statement I want to make, and I have two more. I think the greatest war we all fight, though, is the war with self.
Yes.
And I could speak my perspective on that, but that's not why we're here. I want your perspective on how does one deal with, because with the wisdom you have, the things you've been through, the war with self.
Well, I put my faith and trust in God, so there aren't too many wars with self for me.
Okay.
I just accept it as, okay, I'm going through this issue now. It will pass. Let me deal with it now and then move on. My mother used to she taught me, just focus on today and tomorrow never comes. Every day is today, 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 today. If I just do what I need to do today,
That's so good.
tomorrow never will come.
Scripture says that while we talking about the Bible. Why worry about tomorrow? Today
Yeah.
has enough trouble in its own.
They're like, I don't worry, brother. I don't really spend time on worrying about anything because I know if God wants it for me, I'll receive it. It's not up to me. It's up to, is this what God wants for me?
But to add to that, there is a work that you have to do to get
Yes.
to it, though.
Now, I have to be, let's say if God wanted me to play in the NBA, I still have to run, dribble a basketball, practice my 3-point shot, practice layups, do all of those things to be ready for the blessing. And so often we're not ready to be blessed. Like, how is God going to bless you with a $1.2 million home if you can't pay rent on a place that costs?
$800 a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, you're really not ready for X blessing. And that's what I try to tell people. Try to tell them, well, what are you doing to be ready for the blessing? Because you can want all you want. Are you really ready to be blessed?
Wow. Are you ready to be blessed? That whole narrative of what God has for me is only one-sided if you don't include if I position myself to be
Yes.
ready for what he has.
Yes.
Okay, the next thing is I asked the guy, because I knew we were going to sit down, I said, if you could ask Ving Rhames anything, what would you ask him? And this brother looked at me and he had a little beer in his hand and he said, you asked Ving Rhames, why did he not like to play lead roles? Because he's a lead role actor. And I said he did play a lead role to my knowledge, and that was in Made in America.
Yeah.
And in Rosewood, I thought you were the
Yes,
lead character.
I was.
So that's 2. But out of all of your body of work,
Well, because I didn't produce those films, I didn't direct those films, and I didn't do the hiring for those films.
okay,
So if someone wants to hire someone else to be the lead,
it is what
God
it is.
bless you. Yeah, it's not up to me.
And it never bothered you.
No. No, because for me, I'm kind of in the true definition of actor is almost to be able to play different types of roles. So let's say in Holiday Heart, I played the drag queen. In Pulp Fiction, I played the gangster. In I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, I played the gay fireman. So these are all different
Which
types.
was hilarious to
types
me.
of, yeah, these are all different types.
Comical.
And by the way, damn, I can't remember the director's name, but he let me improvise in the shower scene. That song, that's all improvisation. Yep.
Wow. Okay, I keep saying this is my last one. So when did the ladies really start swooning after Ving Rhames? I'm going to take a guess. It might have been when you were in the kitchen, right, with your back out, both backs, and the back of your legs.
I'd say that was the movie. I don't know what moment,
Okay.
but was that the movie?
The movie?
Yeah. And I know a lot of times when women approach me, they talk about the kitchen scene. Cooking eggs.
Cooking eggs.
Yeah.
The
that
kitchen scene.
Yep.
Wow.
Because I'm nude. and that's what they talk about.
That's awesome, man. Ving Rhames, man, in closing, just one word to anyone that you would want to encourage to look beyond where they are. What would you tell them?
Put God first. Put your trust in God and not in mankind. Man will let you down. God won't. It's that simple. Just keep your trust in God. Whatever you want in life, put your trust in God. Period.
Point blank, period. Spoken from the man himself, Ving Rhames. Thank you for coming
Thank
through,
you,
man.
man.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you too, brother.